Well, we are seeing, unfortunately, another case of an unruly passenger causing trouble for flight attendants. A Hawaiian Airlines flight from Honolulu to the Big Island actually had to return to Honolulu yesterday after a passenger attacked a flight attendant. The airline says the male flight attendant was walking down the aisle when the passenger punched him twice, and what the airline says was an unprovoked attack. It did not appear to be mask related. That passenger was arrested. This is just the latest case, and it comes as flight attendants testified in Washington about increased incidents of violence on board.
He looked at me, and I will not repeat the epithet he used. He said, "N-word, I don't have to listen to a damn thing you say. This is a free country." I was completely taken aback. I didn't know what to say.
If we continue at this rate, there may be more incidents in 2021 than in the entire history of aviation. But for the first time, we're hearing from the FAA that some of our efforts together has these numbers trending down. There's so much more to do, though, because these incidents are still too common.
Now, the FAA says there have been about 4,400 incidents this year. Most of them involve disputes over the mask mandate. Joining us now is Lyn Montgomery, president of TWU Local 556, which is the flight attendant union for Southwest Airlines. Lyn, thank you so much for being here. You've been speaking out now for several months about the problem of unruly passengers, but it seems the situation is only getting worse.
It does seem as if the situation is only getting worse, and it's proved by the numbers, as you stated earlier, 4,400 incidents since January of this year.
What do you think is driving the higher rate of air rage incidents?
It's an interesting question. Flight attendants are seeing issues over mask mandate compliance, normal safety requests to have normal safety requirement requests, as the flight attendant that you just interviewed had stated about being called a racist term. Those types of issues have been occurring on board the aircraft. Flight cancellations and also frustrations with flight delays have all added to the tension.
Yeah, and then what about passengers who drink alcohol? I mean, I've heard from flight attendants that was a problem even before the pandemic. Now most airlines aren't serving alcohol on board flights, but still people are managing to bring alcohol on board.
And that's something Transport Workers Union Local 556 is taking a look into. You can't board an aircraft if you have been drinking. If you're intoxicated, you will be refused boarding. But what's happening is customers are getting drunk and intoxicated in the gate areas where flight attendants don't see how much they consume. And sometimes they're not noticing that by the time they get on board the aircraft and they sit on board the aircraft for a few minutes, they've become completely intoxicated.
Okay, so you and other flight attendants have turned to Congress now for help. What do you want lawmakers to do?
What we want to see is, number one, we want to see a universal no-fly list. That means if you misbehave on one airline, you're not going to be able to fly on any commercial airline. So if you're banned on one airline, you're banned on another airline. As you talked about, we want to prohibit serving alcohol on board flights, limiting the service of alcohol, and also limiting options in the gate areas, such as being able to order more than one drink or being able to walk around the terminal with a beverage. We encourage the Department of Justice and airlines and airports to file criminal charges whenever there's an incident of passenger misconduct. We want to seek that flight attendants are able to attend and be paid for attending the TSA crew member crew member assault training, self-defense training, and also to have visible uniform security in the gate areas to encourage enforcement, as well as enforcing the Air Marshal program.
Okay, so you've asked Congress for these things. How likely is it for you to get some of what you're asking for?
I hope it's going to happen. We're going to keep pushing until it happens, because we will not accept this as a new normal in the air. This will not be a new normal. Okay, so you want more Justice Department prosecutions. Right now, most penalties consist of some pretty heavy fines, some as high as $37,000. Do you think, though, that those fines are doing anything to deter unruly behavior? That's why I would like to see, and TWU Local 556 and TWU International would like to see, that the Air Marshal program is enhanced, because that's going to do something while the incidents are occurring. The Air Marshal program was enhanced after September 11th, and we feel it can be enhanced again to make sure our skies are safe.
And are you hearing from some flight attendants that, you know what, I just don't want to do this anymore because you never know what you're going to encounter now on a flight?
Absolutely. It's had a deep impact on the quality of life for flight attendants. We should be able to come home after a trip and not be injured.
Yeah, you absolutely should. All right, Lyn Montgomery, really appreciate you. Thank you so much for talking with us today.